sugar and spice. Today we're making biryani. Biryani is a very famous dish of Pakistan and India. I'm gonna let you know that what kind of ingredients we're gonna use for this dish. First of all, we need about 1.5 pounds of beef, boneless beef cubes. You can use chicken for this dish, you can use mutton or lamb meat for this dish, or you can use beef with bones. And I'm using about 4 cups of basmati rice. So again, I'm repeating the ratio. It is 1.5 pounds of beef and 4 cups of basmati rice. In here we also need 1 onion, about 5 medium to large size of tomatoes, 2 jalapenos, optional green peppers. You don't have to use it if you don't want to. We need about 2 teaspoons of crushed or minced ginger, 2 to 3 teaspoons of crushed or minced garlic, about 1.5 teaspoons of salt for the meat sauce, and we need some additional or extra salt when we're going to boil our rice, some food coloring, and about a cup of yogurt, and a teaspoon of turmeric, 1.5 teaspoon of garam masala or whole spice, 2 teaspoons of coriander powder, 1.5 teaspoons of cayenne hot pepper powder, 1.5 teaspoons of cumin powder, and we need about 2 to 3 small sticks of cinnamon for our rice, and about half a teaspoon of whole coriander seeds, half a teaspoon of cumin seeds, and 3 to 4 bay leaves, 3 whole black cardamom, 4 to 5 green cardamoms, and about 10 to 12 black peppercorns, about 10 to 12 whole cloves, 2 small pieces of mace. If you don't have mace, you don't have to use it. You don't have bay leaf at home, you don't have to use it. You can cut it down. Same with green cardamom and black cardamom as well. Well, if you have it, it's good to use it. If you don't have it, you don't have to worry about it. You can omit it. And about a cup of mint leaves. And we're gonna go ahead and soak our rice, pre-soak for about 10 to 15 minutes. Well, to let you guys know, you guys have to be very careful with cooking basmati rice. If this is your first time cooking basmati rice, just to let you guys know, this is very different than regular long grain rice or jasmine rice. It cooks very quickly, so you have to keep an eye on it because you don't want to turn it into a mush. So we're gonna soak it about 15 minutes. Okay, that's it. I'm gonna put it on the side, and here I'm gonna turn on the stove. I forgot to tell you guys, of course, we need some oil for this recipe as well. I'm going to add about 2 cups of oil. Yes, we're using a lot of oil because we have 4 cups of rice. That should be enough. Until my oil is getting ready, I'm going to peel and chop my onion. Make sure it's a good size of onion. We don't want it very small or too big. For about 1.5 pounds of beef. Yes, I do chop my onions this way. This way I'm probably used to it. I'm doing this way for years now. But for those who are not comfortable doing this, I'm telling you guys not to do it. You might cut your fingers. Make sure you're not slicing the onion for this dish too thick or too thin. Then the texture of the sauce won't be right. Okay, that's it. I'm going to add my onions. There are a lot of different varieties of biryani out there, and this is I would say the most common kind. Usually Pakistani household cooks it every day. Not every day, usually probably once a week or twice a week. We want to turn the color of the onion about slightly golden. You don't want to burn it. Do not over fry it. You want it golden color. While our onions are I'm trying to tell you guys the most easiest way or recipe for biryani, because if you want to go in detail, believe me or not, you can use more spices than what I'm using right now, and it's not practical. You know, usually we don't carry these spices all the time in our pantry. So like I told you guys, if you don't have the black cardamom at home and don't have the bay leaves, you don't have to use it. So pretty much the base of the biryani is rice, meat, yogurt, tomatoes, onions, your garlic and ginger paste, turmeric, and cayenne pepper powder and salt. And if you don't have the other items that I mentioned at home, you don't have to cook it. If you want to make it something special, you know, so then yeah, you can add the spices in it. So chopping the tomatoes, you don't have to be very precise, you know, just give them a rough chop. I usually like them in a bigger chunks. Just give them a rough chop. Okay, we're going to check on our onion. I think we need some more oil. Usually I prefer making beef biryani with the beef meat with bones and some fat in it. It tastes a lot better than the lean meat that I'm using today. But of course, I'm a little bit of health conscious, so I have to sacrifice a little bit of taste over health. So that's why I'm using lean meat. But it's totally up to you, you know. I'm just giving you a little tip that meat with bone and a little bit of fat in it will taste a lot better. A tip for making biryani is that when you are making your rice, make sure that you have big and wide pot to boil your rice. Otherwise, your rice will turn to a mush. So make sure that you have a wider and deeper, not like those stock pots, but yes, wide mouth, deep pot to boil your rice and make your biryani. Okay, I'm going to add tomatoes. Oops. So this is the color of onion that we want. Okay, so now we have added our tomatoes. I'm going to add my other spices. I'm going to add the ginger and garlic paste. And I'm adding my turmeric. I'm adding the whole spice powder or garam masala powder. I'm adding the cayenne pepper powder, the cumin powder, coriander powder, and 1.5 teaspoons of salt. Adding the bay leaves, black cardamom, green cardamom, mace, cloves, black pepper. We're gonna cook this mixture for about another 5 minutes. Now I'm adding the meat. We're going to cook it for 2 minutes and then we're going to add fuel. Okay, now I'm going to add the yogurt. If you want, I usually do it, sometimes I do it, sometimes I don't. You can add about 2 tablespoons of lemon juice in it as well. But today I'm not adding any. I'm gonna stir it. I'm going to add about 4 cups of water until and meanwhile I'm going to keep on checking on the meat that the meat is tender or not. Usually the beef takes about 45 to 1 hour time to cook. It depends what area are you living at. In some countries, some places, it takes a lot longer than that, and you have to use a pressure cooker to use it a little bit to cook it earlier, a bit quicker, not earlier. I think that's good enough. Good enough. You know what? My habit is that I never measure stuff. I always eyeball it. So it's kind of problematic for me to tell exactly how much I'm using. I think I need to emphasize on it. So estimately, probably I have used 4 cups of water or 5 cups of water. Okay, we're gonna let it cook for 45 minutes. I turn down the stove on medium high. Okay, and on the other side, I got a big pot of water, and I'm gonna turn on my stove, leave it on low, because I want to keep some my water ready to boil my rice. The meat is gonna be ready. This water should be ready as well. Okay, so we're gonna check back on this. Okay, now we're gonna check on our meat to see if it's tender yet or not. Okay, it has quite some moisture left in it, which we need to evaporate it. Yeah, you see, by the touch, it is tender. It is cooked. Yeah. So now we have to evaporate the leftover moisture in it. And on this side, the rice water is ready. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add the spices that I told you about. We're gonna add in the water the cinnamon sticks, the whole cumin seed, coriander seeds, and the whole cumin seeds. They're all going in there. And I'm adding my jalapeno peppers in it. Just gonna slice it in half. Gonna increase the heat under the meat sauce. So now we need a lot of salt for the rice water. Don't worry, you're gonna say I'm gonna add a lot, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna strain all these water once the rice is ready. So 2, 3, 4. Probably it's enough. I'll check it while we're cooking the rice. We don't want it very dry, but this is too soupy for biryani. We're gonna, yeah, we have to reduce it. Probably another 8 to 10 minutes. Ooh, it's spreading everywhere. I'm gonna cover it until it's ready. Okay, yes, this is the moisture level that we want in biryani sauce or meat sauce. You see, the meat is all the way tender. Actually, it's a little bit even falling apart, which is, I mean, my favorite thing. I want the meat kind of fall apart texture in my biryani. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna switch the places of the rice and the meat sauce. Actually, it's done. So the reason why I'm doing it because this stove burner is more powerful or higher than this one, and you don't want to cook your rice if your stove has a small flame burner in it. If the flame is not right while you're cooking basmati rice, believe me or not, your rice will come very sticky. It's gonna ruin the whole dish. you want high heat in the beginning when you want to boil your basmati rice. I'm gonna strain the water. Believe me or not, even though I'm cooking this rice for years, still sometimes I ruin it. I still ruin it. If I'm cooking it for about 10 to 12 people, it comes out okay. If it's about 40 to 50 people, I've tried it before. There are a lot of, I mean, there's a chance that you might ruin it very easily. Just because if you don't have the stove that is quite not powerful. Okay, let me just get it. Let me check the salt. I think we need a little bit more. Don't worry, I promise it won't be too salty, because once our rice is halfway cooked, we're gonna strain it in the strainer, and then we're gonna add a layer of rice, a layer of meat sauce, another layer of rice, another layer of meat sauce. Then we're gonna leave it for simmer for about 10 minutes. So let's see. Well, again, I mentioned it earlier that your pot is supposed to be deep enough and wide enough. If you're trying to make your biryani rice in a stock pot, it's not gonna work. And what we say actually in Pakistan, if the biryani rice comes out sticky and your meat sauce is okay, that means you still have room in the biryani. So the rice shouldn't stick together at all. This is the basic, or let's say very authentic recipe of biryani. Biryani is kind of, in Pakistan, it's kind of comfort food and very formal dish as well. They serve it in, every wedding. They must serve their guests with some variety of biryani. And if you're invited at a dinner at some Pakistani or Indian people's home, they will serve you biryani. And even if they go to potluck or picnic, somebody will bring biryani. So this is a kind of a dish that probably they cannot live without. It is formal and very casual, comfort food as well. Okay, let's check on our rice. Okay, can you bring the camera a little closer, please? Another trick is, I have heard from somebody that for a biryani, you want to check if your rice is ready or not. Take a grain of rice and pinch it, press it between your index finger and your thumb, like so. It came out about in 3 little chunks or pieces. Would say if it came out about 3 pieces, it is ready. If it's came out in 2 pieces, it's not ready. But I still don't trust that trick. I kind of take 2-3 grains and eat it. I think it's ready. Maybe 1 or 2 more minutes. See, I kind of turned down the flame lower when it's halfway done. Your rice is not supposed to be cooked all the way at this process. It shouldn't be half, a little bit more than halfway, but not all the way cooked. Yeah, I think it's there. It's not all the way cooked, and it's not raw either. So I'm gonna strain the water. Here is strainer. Okay, now the fun part begins. Here I'm adding the mint leaves and the meat sauce. Okay, just stir it probably once or twice like this. And I'm gonna add half of the rice on the bottom of the pot. Just add some water. And a layer of meat sauce. Just like so on the rice. Make sure that you distribute distribute equal parts of meat and rice on each layer. And if you want, it's optional. You can add a few thin slices of lemon. I'm telling you guys again, do not try it at home the way I'm doing. I'm slicing the lemon. You might cut your hands. Okay, again, rice. And meat sauce. Some people like their biryani very dry, but I like mine moist. So I'm adding more. And the last part, some food coloring. I always use the orange color. You can use yellow, red, but please do not use any purple or blue. It won't look good. Even some people use saffron instead of food coloring, but I don't like saffron. And my biryani tastes just way too strong. Okay. Now I'm gonna see if it's hot enough. It's good. I can handle it. If you have a thick metal plate or a thick pan, I will say that before you put in your pot back on the heat to simmer. Add, put that plate there. I have this that I found out from somewhere. Add it. Okay, I've placed that before putting my pot back. And I want to place a sheet of paper towel underneath the lid before closing it, because this way it's going to hold the moisture which is going to drip back on the rice and it's going to make it soggy. Check again. Okay, now it's on the very low flame. We're going to leave it for about 10 to 15 minutes to simmer, and then we're going to see how it's going to turn out. I think it's ready. I'm going to check. Yeah, it's ready. Okay, I dished out the biryani and I garnished it with some cilantro, chopped cilantro if you want it. I mean, if you want to do that, you can. And here it is. Beef biryani is all ready, and oh gosh, we are so hungry right now. Me and my cameraman, we can't wait to dig in. So hopefully you like this recipe. You're gonna try it. Until next time, I'll see you. Take care. Bye bye.